briefly to carry us through the weekend.
Good morning, Colorado. It's 8 o'clock on your Saturday, November 19th. I'm Stephanie Sierra. We want to get right to the latest on a shooting in Colorado Springs last night. Police say they are still on the lookout for the suspect involved in the robbery that kicked off the whole incident. The robbery happened in the 3500 block of North Academy Boulevard near Carefree Circle North. Police say they were responding to reports of shots fired in the area when they found a man with a gunshot wound. Officers suspect the robber was also shot before taking off with an unknown amount of money. We have no word yet on the victim's condition. We'll be keeping an eye on this story and keep you updated with any developments right here on KRDO News Channel 13. And we're taking a look outside of Alamosa, courtesy of our Viera Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network camera. It's a beautiful shot there, but looks can be deceiving. It is chilly outside. I'm going to send it over to Storm Tracker 13's Marty Vinicinkle to see how much longer can we hold on to this gorgeous weather, Marty.
Well, it will be nice this weekend. We'll be tracking the storm early next week, but let's get through this morning. First, you mentioned the real pretty shot in Alamosa, where it's 4 right now, 4. That's it. So it's pretty cold in some areas. Skyscan shows that there are some clouds kind of rolling just to our north. It's an indication of some warmer air that's starting to move our way, and we'll start to feel that a little later on, but at the moment it's still chilly. Step out in the backyard here at the KRDO News Studios. We have this view basically looking back towards the Drake Power Plant. Phil Long Kia is the camera shot that we're using, and I haven't seen that much steam going up in the air in a long time. It usually happens on a cold morning, and yeah, 16 degrees is what we're showing right now with a calm wind. Up to 20 currently at the Pueblo Chieftain Studio. A few high clouds off in the distance. We're peering back towards the wet and Sangre de Cristo Mountains. It's actually a little windy in those areas and a good bit warmer as a result of that. And that's where the warmest air will be today. We'll have 60s safe from Canyon City through Walsenburg to Trinidad. Venture out along the Arkansas River, look for 50s. We're expecting 40s up here in northeastern Colorado, where there's still some pretty good snow on the ground. So there will be some temperature variety out there. But all things considered, not a bad afternoon and probably not too windy. Much warmer tomorrow, then we'll turn our attention to another storm system. And we'll talk more about that in our main weather segment coming up in just a bit. Stephanie, back to you.
Marty, thank you. With freezing temperatures overnight, it was the perfect time for the new Colorado Springs rescue mission to open its doors. KRDO News Channel 13's Katie Spencer is live outside the mission. Katie, this reopen came just in time for a lot of people.
Yes, Stephanie, we're still working on getting the latest numbers of people who stayed overnight, but with temperatures in the Springs hitting in the teens, it forced the homeless population to seek shelter at the newly expanded Springs Rescue Mission. The shelter reopened after being closed for the $3 million project. As of last night, 154 of the 250 beds were taken, and according to workers at the Springs Rescue Mission, a homeless person's needs are looked at before letting them in for the night.
So we've got a pretty good handle on who are the individuals in our local homeless population, what is their level of need. Again, we work with a bunch of other partner organizations around the community to make sure that we're assessing people correctly based on their situation.
A lottery system determines who gets in. If the shelter exceeds capacity, that lottery is held a week in advance. As I said, we're still working on getting the latest numbers of people who stayed overnight, and we will have that later on KRDO News Channel 13 this evening. Reporting live in Colorado Springs, Katie Spencer, KRDO News Channel 13.
Katie, thank you. We have a very important reminder for our viewers as you head out this morning. Colorado Springs Police wants to remind drivers that leaving your car running unattended to warm it up is actually illegal. It's also known as puffing. Officers warn it could make you a target for theft. Yesterday, 4 cars were stolen because of puffing, and CSPD does add that remote starts are okay to use. We're now learning the damage left behind by Thursday's snowstorm. Reports say that several accidents were caused as roads started to freeze. 2 people died because of weather-related accidents. 1 person was killed in a 20-car pileup on I-70 outside of Evergreen. Another driver was killed outside of Westminster when an SUV crashed with a semi. Now, CDOT is reminding drivers of proper road safety in winter weather conditions. When the snow hits the streets on Thursday like it did, it quickly melted from the sun, but later froze when the wind picked up. CDOT suggests the best way to stay safe on the roads is to drive slowly and give other drivers space. When the roads freeze so quickly like they did on Thursday night, officials say it's hard to stay ahead of the weather.
You know, also as a driver here in Colorado, you got to kind of anticipate that and keep up on the weather and the temperatures if you really want to keep yourself safe. So
Decker says CDOT has new technology that will tell them within minutes of when the roads are expected to freeze. In Pueblo West, the winter weather is continuing to plague the rural side streets. Nearly 50% of the roads are unpaved, leaving many to wonder when the roads will be improved. Now residents tell KRDO News Channel 13's Colleen Sikora the district isn't taking care of problems quick enough.
It comes with the location.
We knew when we moved in here that the roads were dirt.
In fact, nearly half of Pueblo West's 400 miles of roads are unpaved.
We just kind of deal with it.
But here on Matt Drive, it's worse than usual.
That's the worst washboarding I've seen in the 2.5 years we've lived out here.
They usually do a pretty good job of maintaining it, but I don't know what's going on.
Over the past year, washboards have built up from not being graded during regular maintenance, making the drive rough.
Today I noticed that when the car came by, the harmonics from the ripples made the house shake.
Since July, residents have been using the My Pueblo West portal to make requests for roads to get fixed, and calls have skyrocketed.
With that ease, our calls for requests have gone up tremendously.
Streets and Roads Manager Jim Blasing says current projects have been keeping his relatively small crew busy.
We have 11 personnel at Streets and Roads for our 400 miles.
And next on the list, tackling requests.
We hopefully we're going to be able to dedicate 1 or 2 crews week after next to get back on the My Pueblo West system.
And neighbors on Matt Drive
Regular maintenance would be nice.
hope a smooth drive home comes soon.
In Pueblo West, Colleen Sikora, KRDO News Channel 13.
That was Colleen Sikora reporting. Blasing says the streets and roads budget is looking like it's going to stay the same, so no major makeovers or newly paved roads are anticipated right now. Some KRDO News Channel 13 teamed up with the Salvation Army and American Furniture Warehouse in Colorado Springs yesterday to kick off the Season of Sharing food drive. Hundreds of pounds of food were collected to feed the needy. Some donated from their own pantries, while others donated on behalf of businesses or schools, including Eagleview Middle School.
We donated lots of food and lots of money. I think the kids donated around just under $3,000 this year. And the cans and boxes that we brought in today, that's probably about, I would say, a fifth of what we did overall.
It makes me feel good. I like that. It makes me feel like we're getting in the holiday spirit.
A lot of good stuff.
The Salvation Army expects to feed nearly 5,000 needy folks throughout the holidays. If you didn't get a chance to donate yesterday, you can always drop off a donation at the headquarters on Yuma, that is east of downtown. Some say Donald Trump's transition to the White House is starting off as a rocky one. We'll tell you why his latest picks to help him steer the nation are sparking some controversy. Plus, Trump's plans for certain immigration laws has some fearful here in southern Colorado. We'll tell you their concerns coming up next.
It's a chilly morning. Got some pretty good ice on the cars if you left them outside last night, too. You'll need to scrape them. But the sun's up, and we'll get into the upper 40s to around 50 at lunchtime, then end up in the 50s this afternoon. So not a bad day. Looks warmer tomorrow. We'll have the 7-day forecast coming up soon.
Welcome back to Good Morning Colorado. You're taking a live look over I-25 in Woodman. Very light traffic. People are getting up this morning. Time now 8:11. President-elect Donald Trump has now named 3 officials to the top post in his administration. But things aren't all smooth sailing for Trump. Some of them are causing backlash. All of this as Trump University lawsuit comes to an end. ABC's Gloria Riviera has the latest.
This morning, President-elect Trump's supporters are defending his picks for key positions. 3 of them under fire for a history of racially charged comments.
Jeff Sessions is one of the stalwart conservatives in the Senate. He's also been a loyal ally to Donald Trump throughout this entire campaign.
Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions, selected for Attorney General, served as a federal prosecutor before his decades-long career on Capitol Hill and was unopposed in his last election. But claims of racism have followed the conservative, who was accused of calling an African-American colleague in the U.S. Attorney's Office boy, a charge he denied during this 1986 testimony to the U.S. Senate, which rejected his confirmation to a federal judgeship.
I am not a racist.
Sessions denies those charges to this day. Still, the chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus calling Senator Sessions' civil rights record appalling. Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, tapped for National Security Advisor, gets high praise for his intelligence work. Former CIA Director Mike Hayden complimenting Flynn, saying he has been incredibly successful in the fight against terrorism. But he's also been criticized for recent comments, tweeting that fear of Muslims is rational, and this August 2016 speech on Islam.
So it's like cancer, and it's like a malignant cancer.
But Trump's most controversial pick may be his chief White House strategist, Steve Bannon. The former head of Breitbart Media has been vilified as a racist and an anti-Semite, charges he denies. But Bannon seems to boast about being scorned by his opponents, telling The Hollywood Reporter that darkness is good. Bannon tells the magazine, Dick Cheney, Darth Vader, Satan, that's power.
We'll be keeping an eye on Trump's transition to the Oval Office right here on KRDO News Channel 13. It was one of Trump's first campaign promises, building a wall on the U.S.'s southern border. Now some immigrants are fearful the president-elect will follow through on that promise. Amber Blassingame is an immigration attorney here in Colorado Springs. Since the election, her phone has been constantly ringing with concerns from immigrants who fear a Trump presidency.
Some of them have been permanent residents for years and have now decided that maybe it would be a good idea to become citizens. So we're getting calls. I mean, it's not just undocumented people, but people who are actually undocumented, who are legally here in the United States, that are also concerned.
Blassingame hopes Trump will realize the economic value of the immigrant communities. The blast of cold weather has unfortunately forced those without a home to seek shelter in Colorado Springs. But fortunately, a group was ready to take those affected in for the night. We'll show you where they kept warm. We're taking a look outside of I-25 in Colorado. Like I said before, it's never too late for that donut run. Dunkin' Donuts and Amy's Donuts open 24 hours.
Hey, might as well get some coffee while you're at it because it's freezing cold outside this morning. But having said that, we're still expecting overall a warmer weekend, plenty of sunshine. And another storm system is coming our way. We'll let you know what that's going to do to us coming up next. closing in on 8:18 on this chilly Saturday morning in which many areas are only in the teens and 20s right now. Some mountain valleys are in the single digits. We had a good bit of snow with the last storm system over northeastern Colorado. Kind of a cool view from Pete's Hill. It's going to keep the northern part of the state in the 40s today. I think we'll end up a little bit warmer than that in southern Colorado, as we didn't obviously get as much snow in more areas. Woodland Park right now, 31. Yeah, we do have a little snow on the ground there at the Greater Woodland Park Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. But the temperatures over the mountains are warming more quickly than they are at lower elevations right now. We're getting closer to 40 at last check at the Spanish Peaks Veterans Community Living Center in Walsenburg. Part of the reason for that is the wind, which is out of the west at 9 miles an hour. We will have some wind over near the mountains south and west of Pueblo today, but probably not elsewhere. And so notice how the cold air at the major reporting stations is kind of stuck in this little pool out here from the Arkansas River northward. Lyman's only 18 at the top of the hour. Alamosa's warmed up. Now they were down to 4. It's currently up to 15, so, I guess it's an improvement. We're on our way. Skycast shows a good bit of sunshine this morning. Some passing clouds at times this afternoon might give us a little bit of shade. What we don't expect much of today, at least for Colorado Springs and Pueblo and most of us on the plains, is much wind. And so that's always a good thing to be able to point out. But where the wind is blowing, it will get warmer. So 60s from Canyon City through Walsenburg and Trinidad. Expect 50s from Colorado Springs through Pueblo out along the Arkansas River. And then I mentioned up in northeastern Colorado where the snowpack's a little deeper. We'll probably keep temperatures only in the 40s today. Skycast continues to show some clouds drifting through the area at times overnight tonight. And really these clouds are just associated with the warmer air that's going to be moving overhead. It will not be as cold tonight as it has been in many areas this morning. And then tomorrow will continue to warm again and probably get into the upper 60s. And it still shouldn't be too windy tomorrow. So outside of some clouds, I think tomorrow looks like a great day. Monday, still warm. Mixture of clouds and sun. The wind will pick up a little in advance to the next storm that looks to get here on Tuesday. And right now that storm looks to bring a mixture of some rain and snow to the area. Currently I would expect that those of you watching from northern parts of the coverage area, Monument Hill, maybe the mountains in the Pikes Peak region, are going to have to worry more about snow than some areas farther south. And it's still a couple of days out, so we'll have to track it. But we could have some accumulating snow in some parts of our coverage area on Tuesday into Tuesday night. We'll kick that system out by Wednesday. Thanksgiving Day looks dry and cool, but not bad for this time of year. Highs in the mid-50s and maybe a little breezy, and we'll stay right about there through the end of the week. Pueblo looking for temperatures to maybe top 70 tomorrow with mid-60s on Monday. The storm for Tuesday looks a little warmer than the last one for you, so if you do get something to come from it, it's probably going to be some rain showers more than snowflakes. Either way, we wouldn't expect too much for you in Pueblo with this storm right now. Comes a little farther south. We'll have to change our tune on that, but that's the way it looks currently. After about 50 for a high on Tuesday, we will start to warm up again, probably in the mid-50s to lower 60s then as we round out the holiday week. Canyon City, your temperatures should be up around 70 tomorrow as well. Then we'll fall through the 60s Monday into the 40s on Tuesday with some rain showers. Probably not looking at snow with this system for you on Tuesday. Highs in the upper 40s. It's a little warm for that. But after that, we'll dry things out and get back into the 50s. Now, Teller County, I do think that not only could you pick up some snow, but you might even get a few raindrops or snowflakes Monday with just some instability showers ahead of the storm. It's not really the main storm system on Monday. So if we're talking about travel impacts, I would say on Tuesday that's more likely with highs only in the 30s and a more widespread snowfall expected. So bottom line is I would watch out in Teller County and Monument Hill the way it looks now for another chance for some snow that may stick and cause some travel trouble. And actually there are some indications with the newer information this morning that some of that snow out northeast of Colorado Springs could be kind of heavy. So we'll track that closely.
Wow, it's here. The snow is finally here.
It finally is right. But I'll tell you what, after this one, it looks like we're pretty quiet for a while.
Wow, I was just telling Marty earlier this morning, all this time I've been, I can't wait for the snow, and now that it's here, I'm like, got to get that extra jacket. It's so
chilly,
cold. Yeah. Well, thank you, Marty.
You're welcome.
We're learning more about the punishment for 2 men who caused a massive wildfire in Colorado. We'll tell you the latest details on what's next for these 2 men. Stay with us.
Coming up in sports, a big night for some Southern Colorado high school football teams trying to punch their ticket to next weekend's semifinals. We'll tell you who advanced coming up. Good morning, everybody. Well, 3 schools from southern Colorado were hoping last night that they would have to practice on Thanksgiving. We begin this morning with Pine Creek on a frigid night, and Greeley taking on Greeley West. And the Eagles had a big night out of this young man, Jay Odkin. This kid was all over the field. Nice tackle there. And then the Eagles go as David Moore III goes. Touchdown up the gut. Eagles go up 7-0. And then next series, Moore at it again, gashing the defense. Big gainer here. And same drive, Brock Dolman gonna connect with Pete Isaias. Nice grab there. Eagles, they'll play in the 4A semifinals as they advance with a 28-9 win. The defending 3A state champs, Pueblo East at Dutch Clark hosting Holy Family. What a night for Bryson Torres. Found the end zone time after time again, and the defending 3A state champs, they win. They'll play in the 3A semis as they win 41-21. Ham warmer night at Don Breeze Stadium. Lewis Palmer was trying to advance. They were entertaining Silver Creek, and Jordan Shaguda. Nice tackle there. Smells out the screen. And then Kevin Timms going up top to Alex Bailey. What a grab. Great catch. But Silver Creek with the football. Dylan Ordway going for it all. Finds Kahari Harrison. He had 3 touchdowns in the first half alone for Silver Creek. And they'd taken lead there at that point. Then Timms looking for his favorite target on the night. Bailey gets behind the defense, hauls it in. And this was a chilly night, and this was a bone-crushing hit by Jordan Brines. Out comes the football. The Rangers would recover and stop Silver Creek's drive. And then Timms at it again. On the money to Chase Allen. And it would set up this. Timms going to the air once again. Finds Joel Scott wide open in the end zone. Now, Lewis Palmer would score late in the game, but the extra point would get blocked. Silver Creek would win 28-27. Air Force on the road, taking on Western Michigan. Frank Saratori's club trying to get a W on the road. Air Force down a goal. Kyle Hack finds Jordan Himley. Short-handed goal. Air Force and Western Michigan would skate to a 5-5 draw. The Nuggets at home last night taking on the Raptors. Pick it up in OT in a tight contest. Terrence Ross open, splashes a 3. Nuggets lose 113-111 in OT. If you missed any of our highlights from last night on the prep scene, just go to our website, KRDO.com. That's a look at sports, everybody. I'm Rob Namnoom. Have a good day.
She wanted to help by volunteering her time on the campaign trail, but unfortunately what she did with it was illegal. Find out what this woman pleaded guilty to that could send her to jail for 6 years. Plus, a brand new road is open in Pueblo. We'll take a look at the new Dillon Interchange. That's coming up.
And it's chilly this morning, but we're going to end up with temperatures above seasonal averages. By the way, only 49 and 54 is what you should expect. We'll be in the 50s probably in both Colorado Springs and Pueblo. We're tracking a storm coming onto the west coast. We'll show that to you coming up next.
from Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader, this is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
Good morning, Colorado. It's 8:30 a.m. on your Saturday, November 19th. I'm Stephanie Sierra. With freezing temperatures overnight, it was the perfect time for the new Colorado Springs rescue mission to open its doors. KRDO News Channel 13's Katie Spencer is live outside the mission. Katie, this reopen came just in time for a lot of people.
Yeah, good morning, Stephanie. We're still working on getting the latest numbers of how many people stayed over here last night. But with temperatures in the Springs hitting in the teens last night, it forced the homeless population to seek shelter at the newly expanded Springs Rescue Mission. The shelter reopened after being closed for the $3 million project. As of 6 o'clock last night, 154 of the 250 beds were taken. And according to workers at the rescue mission, a homeless person's needs are looked at before letting them in for the night.
So we've got a pretty good handle on who are the individuals in our local homeless population, what is their level of need. Again, we work with a bunch of other partner organizations around the community to make sure that we're assessing people correctly based on their situation.
A lottery system determines who gets in advance if the shelter exceeds capacity. That lottery system is held a week in advance. We will have the latest numbers this evening on KRDO News Channel 13. Reporting live in Colorado Springs, Katie Spencer, KRDO News Channel 13.
Katie, thank you. We're taking a live look over La Vida. This is in Huerfano County, courtesy of our Vero Wireless Neighborhood Weather Network camera. And as we saw just about an hour ago, we're seeing it again now. That camera is shaking. It is windy in La Vida right now. Beautiful shot though. But the good news is we don't have too much wind expected for us. But word on the street is we are expecting a beautiful day tomorrow. The calm before the storm. I'm going to send it over to Storm Tracker 13's Marty Benachinkwe, who can give us more. Good morning, Marty.
And good morning, Stephanie. And we always have the calm before the storm. Record highs and it snows. That seems to be the way things roll around here, especially this time of the year. We may have something similar happening shortly, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Yeah, the sky scan shows just a few clouds over northern areas. We've had a few cirrus clouds around. The clouds that we have are actually associated with some warmer air. The storm that affected us a couple of days ago, that's still moving east and producing some showers and thunderstorms over the Ohio River Valley. On its backside in the cold sector, we still have some snow flying over the Great Lakes. Our attention is now turning to the system that's beginning to spread more rain and snow onto the west coast. That's the one that's going to impact us most likely on Tuesday, with the chance for some rain and snow depending on your elevation. The maps are looking different now. Finally, the colder air is starting to make a move into the continental United States, so a lot of locations in the 20s and 30s over the northern tier, with even the southern parts of the country only in the 50s and 60s. And it's a little bit more typical of what we should see for November. And obviously, we just had to wait a little while for things to catch up. Highs today, not bad, little above seasonal averages. We'll eventually claw our way up to about 52. Won't be as cold tonight. We're 32 for a low. Tomorrow should be in the upper 60s. And we don't really expect a lot of wind. Probably filter out the sun at times tomorrow. But all things considered, for this late into November, tomorrow looks like a very nice day. Pueblo expect highs today to eventually reach the mid-50s. Although, granted, it's going to take a little while for that to happen. Shouldn't have teens tonight, but we'll still cool into the 20s. So be a crisp start to the day tomorrow. Highs then up into the low 70s. Monday looks okay too. Again, it's Tuesday when the next storm looks to get here. We'll talk more about that in our May weather segment coming up in just a bit. Stephanie, back to you.
Marty, thank you. Nearly a year today, Colorado Springs law enforcement honored and paid tribute to a hero who sacrificed his life for the good of others. UCCS police officer Garrett Swayze was killed last year after he responded to the shootings at the city's Planned Parenthood clinic on Black Friday. KRDO News Channel 13's Michaelia White was at the annual Medal of Valor luncheon where our police forces honored Swayze and more than 60 others.
With the utmost gratitude, our local heroes are recognized.
Each year over the last 31 years, we've had the opportunity to thank those officers who put their lives on the line for us.
For Colorado Springs law enforcement, it's a chance to formally pay respect to their fellow officers.
It's critically important that the community rally around our officers who serve us every day.
Not among them, but in their hearts, Officer Garrett Swayze.
Officer Swayze paid the ultimate sacrifice. We're definitely here to honor that.
Swayze was gunned down and killed when he responded to an active shooter situation at Planned Parenthood last November. It was his final call for service.
He could not have been a finer person in life as well as on the job.
Swayze is one of 65 officers honored within Colorado Springs law enforcement for their bravery.
Fantastic officer, but even a better friend, husband, family member. And so it's just an absolute tribute to him.
The Colorado Springs Police Department presents the Police Award to UCCS Fallen Officer Garrett Swayze.
A tribute bringing this crowd to its feet. Swayze, a perfect example of what it means to serve and protect.
And so what I've decided over time is that being a police officer is a job for heroes. If they're just doing their job, then it is truly a job for heroes. His bravery is truly exceptional.
Leaving a lasting impression never to be forgotten. In Colorado Springs, Michaelia White, KRDO News Channel 13.
In addition to the medals, recipients received a special Colorado flag and recognition from Chief Carey. Several people are reported dead after a medical transport plane crashed in Elko, Nevada. This was the scene shortly after the incident. The crash caused multiple explosions and sent flames into the air. Gosh, look at this video. Local authorities say that at least 4 people were on board. There were no ground injuries. The FAA and the NTSB will investigate the incident. Turning to this morning's crime tracker, the 2 men accused of starting the Cold Springs fire near Nederland this summer have pleaded guilty to felony arson. According to our news partners in Denver, the 2 men are now serving 4 years in prison doing work release. They'll also have 4 years of probation and must pay restitution fees, which adds up to more than $1 million. The Cold Springs fire, which started in July, is responsible for burning 500 acres and destroying 8 homes. The 2 men responsible for starting the fire failed to fully put out their campfire. We're learning more about a fatal rollover crash in Colorado Springs that happened at Drennan Road and Academy Boulevard last night. Police were able to arrest a driver they say allegedly fled the scene after crashing his truck into an SUV, causing it to flip several times. Both occupants inside the SUV were transported to the hospital with injuries. The driver later died this morning. The driver of the truck has been identified as 48-year-old Augustin Perez. Police believe alcohol was the factor in the crash. A Colorado campaign volunteer has pleaded guilty to 2 counts of forgery for accusations she forged voter signatures. 45-year-old Maureen Moss, seen here being arrested in June, is now facing up to 6 years in prison. Prosecutors say Moss submitted numerous forged signatures to her employer, who then provided the petitions to Senate hopeful John Kaiser. Moss will be sentenced on January 20th. Pueblo police are on the lookout for 2 suspects in this week's Safe Streets Roundup. Larry Klein is wanted for motor vehicle theft, plus failure to appear on charges of driving with a revoked license and a DUI. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Pino is wanted for failure to comply, along with failure to appear on charges including possession of a controlled substance and possession of a weapon by a previous offender. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Pueblo Crime Stoppers. We have a time-saver traffic alert this morning. It's good news for commuters in Pueblo. The Dillon Drive interchange project on the city's northern side is finally complete. A ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday officially opened up the new split diamond design. New north and southbound ramps are installed, along with a new bridge and a roundabout. People say these changes are going to make traveling in the area much easier.
I would use it because it's more convenient. It's easier on and off to get to the stores in this area. So I definitely would use it.
With this particular improvement, we've definitely helped anchor this northern end of the city for more growth for the upcoming years.
Construction for this project started in March of 2015. More concerns over batteries in Samsung products have experts not looking at the phones, but at the chargers used to connect them. We'll explain more. Welcome back. Time now, 8:43. As reports continue to surface of Samsung cell phones bursting into flames, a new theory says the battery may not be to blame. The latest case is out of Kansas City, where reports say a phone ignited during a high school class. Some people who work in the cell phone repair industry are now saying the chargers may be the cause.
We see all the time people walk in here with their charger and the charger's fried. We really need to start looking at the chargers specifically. Yeah, we know who's manufacturing the batteries, but who's manufacturing these chargers?
Experts also say any lithium-ion battery can be dangerous when it's overworked. Things that can cause damage include getting it wet, keeping it plugged in too long, or using a generic charger. A mosque and a church in the Canadian city of Ottawa are recovering after being attacked by vandals. Canadian police are looking for those responsible for spray painting Nazi and white supremacy symbols on religious buildings. The city's Jewish community was also targeted earlier this week, where vandals there targeted 3 Jewish buildings, including 2 synagogues. Religious leaders say that while the incidents are unsettling, they are not going to let that intimidate them.
I think that someone or some group is trying to intimidate and trying to show hate, but we are committed to demonstrate that the love that we have and the work of reconciliation and peace is going to triumph over that.
Police are still investigating if those 2 cases are linked.
We're tracking after a chilly start this morning, which should be a pretty nice weekend. Certainly warmer, plenty of sunshine. At times we'll have some clouds, but it looks pretty nice. And then another storm should get here on Tuesday. More on that coming up next. 8:47 on this Saturday morning, which for many of us is starting out pretty chilly. We've had temperatures in some cases in the teens, a few spots in the single digits. We're starting to warm up a little now with more 20s. Skycast shows through the afternoon hours, we're going to have a mixture of clouds and sun. The clouds coming our way are really associated with some warmer air. And so while they might give us some shade on occasion, I think you'll notice as we move into the afternoon, it's getting more comfortable. High temperatures today, warmest over the mountain areas and higher terrain south and west of Pueblo. We've already noticed some wind in La Vida and in Walsenburg, and that's helping to mix up the atmosphere, so these areas will be warmest. I think we'll have some cold air kind of trapped along the Arkansas River. Still not bad. We'll end up in the 50s. Once you head off into northeastern Colorado, there's a lot of snow on the ground, so these areas won't get out of the 40s. So there will be some variety in eastern Colorado with regard to temperature today. Mountain areas, mountain valleys, most of them should end up in the 40s to around 50 on an otherwise pretty quiet afternoon. Skycast shows then tonight that, again, we'll have some clouds off and on, so we'll just call for a partly cloudy sky. These clouds continue to be associated with that warmer air, which will stream into the area overnight tonight, leaving us not worried so much about single-digit and teens for tomorrow morning. I think we'll wake up around the freezing mark. So it'll be a warmer start to the day tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon also looks quite nice, with highs reaching the upper 60s in Colorado Springs. While we'll filter the sun a little bit, I don't think we'll have too much wind. So this time of year you get that warm, usually you have some wind. Doesn't look too bad. Breezy on Monday, still relatively warm with highs in the 60s. Clouds will be on the increase. Next storm looks to arrive Tuesday with a chance for some rain and some snow depending on your elevation. It's a little warmer than the most recent storm that went through, so I do think that elevations for snow will be a little bit higher. I also think the majority of the snow will track over northern areas like the last storm did, and so those are the areas we'll be most concerned with regard to travel problems due to snow. But we could still see a little bit of snow in Colorado Springs with this one. We'll have to track it closely. Highs probably in the 40s, although part of the day will be spent in the 30s if we have snow falling. We'll then start to warm up as we head towards Thanksgiving Day, which of course is Thursday. We'll be back in the mid-50s, and right now outside of some passing clouds and a little bit of a breeze, it looks like a real nice day. So does Friday for that matter. Pueblo looking for highs to reach the lower 70s tomorrow, then 60s on Monday, so real nice here the next several afternoons. As the storm comes in Tuesday, certainly it'll get colder and cloudy. You might even have a few rain showers. Wouldn't worry too much about snow in Pueblo. I think more of that's going to pass off to your north. But again, a little bit of rain wouldn't hurt right now. We can use whatever we can get. It's been awfully dry, as you know. Upper 50s to low 60s then to round out the work week. Overnight lows in the 20s and 30s most nights. Canyon City, I think we'll touch 70 tomorrow, then fall into the mid-60s Monday, 40s on Tuesday with some showers. A pretty good bet, and probably rain showers more than snow showers for you in Canyon City. On the higher terrain south and west of town, certainly you get up high enough, that'll come down as a little bit of snow. 50 should do it for the rest of the week. Overnight lows in the 20s and 30s throughout the period. And Teller County, I think, maybe starting as early as Monday, and this might be true for the mountains south and west of Pueblo too, we could get some instability showers, and if you're high enough, they could come down as some snowflakes. Might even be a little rain at slightly lower elevations. But the stuff Monday is not really associated with the main storm. That comes in on Tuesday. And so if we're worried about road conditions or travel problems, I think Tuesday would be the day where that could happen. And right now I think that's a decent possibility in Teller County and out across Monument Hill and perhaps northeast. So like the last storm, again, northern areas look to catch the brunt of it.
Right.
And there are some indications in some of the newer information this morning that, you know, for some of those areas, it could actually be a pretty good little storm. So we'll have to track that closely.
Right, right. But the good news, tomorrow is going to be nice, so that we have that to look forward to.
Yes.
The calm before the storm, like we were talking.
Yep, and right in the weekend, so it's perfect timing.
Right, right. So grab those hand warmers. Thanks, Marty.
You're welcome.
This 8-month-old kitten may be part of a larger litter, but he certainly isn't a runt. Meet Spot. He's our pet of the week.
Good morning. I'm Gretchen Presley from the Humane Society of the Pikes Peak region. My friend today is Spot the cat. Spot came in with a few of his brothers and sisters. These 8-month-old kittens were found by a Good Samaritan, but she couldn't care for them all, so the whole family was brought to us here at HSPPR. Spot can be a tiny bit on the shy side when you first meet him, but he warms up quickly, and like most kittens, he loves to play. So if you have any wayward cat toys or feather wands around your house, Spot would love to round them up for you. Bring a little bit of kitten energy into your home today. Spot's adoption fee is $75, which includes a voucher for a veterinarian exam, vaccinations, 30 days of pet health insurance, and a microchip. Need a fun way to keep your animal-loving kids busy this winter holiday? Sign them up for Camp Whiskers and Wags Winter Edition. Day camps are running December 28th, 29th, and 30th, and your little pet lovers will get to learn about animals of all shapes and sizes while playing games and learning about responsible pet ownership. Cost is only $45 for the day, and spots are going fast, so visit hsppr.org to sign your youngsters up today. Visit our website, like us on Facebook, or come by in person to 610 Abbott Lane to meet Spot here and all his furry friends.
The live look at the end, is it going to be traffic? Which one? Perfect. Thank you. Welcome back. Time now 8:55. Thanks to the passing of ballot question 1A, Pueblo County can keep excess tax money and spend it on projects. Now planning has begun for a project that could benefit both Pueblo County and the city, including a new sports complex near the Black Hills Power Station downtown. Chamber President Rod Slyhoff says they plan to present the idea to council.
We're going to show them what we would like to build. We have $8 million dedicated to the project. It's not completely enough to do the entire project.
As for the future Black Hills plant, City Council President Steve Naraki says their decision on historical designation of the plant will ultimately come down to money. It's a happy birthday dress worth $5 million. I kid you not, and I'm still in shock. You're taking a look at Marilyn Monroe's famous dress she wore during her happy birthday song to President John F. Kennedy. It was sold for a whopping $4.8 million. The dress was purchased by Ripley's Believe It or Not. Julian's auction house says the gown was so tight that night, Monroe had to be sewn into it. The dress cost $12,000 back then, so it was quite an upcharge. We're going to take a live look outside of Nevada and Cimarron. Traffic has not too bad right now. Other than that, it's pretty quiet, chilly morning. We'll be right back.
Nebraska and Keith County looking at snow. But we had a lot of snow actually just to our north and east with that last storm system that just kind of clipped northern parts of our area. But yeah, look at a little holiday-esque there as we're approaching Thanksgiving. And of course, that's this Thursday. Looks okay on Thursday. We'll have to get through this storm on Tuesday. We'll see how that goes. But afterwards, it looks like outside of some ski resort snow, we're probably going to be pretty dry. A little breezy, generally cool. Highs most days in the 50s. We might spike up and hit the 60s once and fall back into the 40s once or twice. But looks pretty darn quiet, all things considered. Anyway, kind of hoping that maybe on this Tuesday thing we can pick up some beneficial moisture in most areas, because I know that some people had a little snow this last week, and it just ended up not really affecting a lot of the area, and we really could use it.
Right. Beautiful shots, though, on those live cams.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Well, thanks for joining us. Join us tomorrow at 6.